What a rowdy group. Let's be seated, everyone. Thank you and welcome. Welcome to all the members and guests to the 2016 Board of Directors briefing, including those members from around the world who are watching us live online. Hello, everyone online. I'm happy to begin by recognizing your past international presidents and past international directors, DTMs all. I'll ask you to please stand as your name is called. Dilip Abasakara. Jana Burnhill. Robert Burnhill. Edward Bick. Ted Corcoran. Terry Daly. Eddie Dunn. Chris Ford. John Greiner. Pat Johnson. Timothy Keck. Michael Natero. Gary Schmidt. Pauline Shirley. Johnny Uwe. And George Yen. Thank you all our past international presidents. Did I miss any past international president in attendance? No, thank you for your service, men and women. Thank you so much. Past international director, Charles Albright. Past international director, Sal Assad. Past international director, Karen Blake. Lydia Boyd. Robert Brenton. Ray Brooks. Earl Chin. Pam Christopher. Robert Colburn. Gina Cook. Dee Dees. Crystal DiCarlo. Kevin Doyle. John Foster. Bruce Franzen. Patricia Hannon. Sharon Anita Hill. Joe Jarzenbeck. Christina Kielberg. Vicki Kinsman. Ron Kirchgessner. Donna Labatt. Mark Laverne. Andrew Little. Doris Martin. Khaled Matliagatu. Kathy McBride. David McAllister. Pam McCown. Emmy Meeker. Deepak Menon. Kathy Miles. Tammy Miller. Claire Murphy. Herb Nowlin. Cindy Pavella. Richard Peck. Mike Rafferty. Ruth Ray. Jackie Snyder. Alan Shaner. Jim Sultan. Christine Tembleek. Martha Tinker. Jim Vogely. Sandy Vogely. Dietmar Wagon Connect. Bev Wall. Margaret Wan. Floyd Westermeyer. And Eileen Wolf. Thank you, past international directors. Did I miss any past international directors in attendance? No, that's excellent. Thank you so much. Let me offer a few remarks before we begin, just a few remarks about reflection on the year. You know, it's such an honor to serve this organization in this position, in any of our volunteer positions, whether you're a club president, a club secretary, an area director, such an honor and privilege to serve. And I'm exceptionally proud of the board of directors. I'm proud of all the members who served this board of directors in 2015, 2016. This takes a great deal of dedication as we work to respect the efforts of our volunteers across the world and carve an organization for the future. It's been a pleasure for me to connect with so many members around the world. I've had the opportunity to visit Toastmasters in Zimbabwe, and South Africa, and Prague, and Vietnam, Thailand, Japan, Australia, and Canada, and the US, of course. And it's amazing to me to reflect on the personal differences that we may have, the cultural differences we may have. But Toastmasters, we do have a common language and common culture. Common mission, common values, common language, which includes words like competent communicator, triple crowns. Anywhere in the world you go, you're with friends when you visit a Toastmasters club. So it's such an amazing insight for me, and I thank you for the opportunity to serve and reflect on that, the common culture that we have around the world in over 130 countries these days. I want to thank the many volunteer leaders at so many levels of the organization. You know, we've got a very talented, capable staff that serves us so very well in Southern California. We've got your board of directors here today, but this organization's run by volunteers. It's folks who make sure that we are delivering on a strategic plan, club excellence. We're delivering on member achievement. We're delivering on engagement, awareness, and participation. So I thank you for all your efforts. And I invite all of you, I hope you're speaking about our strategic plan. All our boards through the years have been very strategic. We've had some exceptional strategic plans. I'm proud of this one for its simplicity, and I hope every member can see themselves very clearly in the strategic plan. We are focused on your achievement, member achievement, my achievement, our achievement, your achievement. The way we deliver upon that is by having excellent clubs. So this board of directors, your next board of directors, will be focused on ways that we can deliver more and more excellence at the club environment so more people can benefit from this great organization. And through engagement, awareness, and participation, we can reach greater and greater numbers. I thank you for the opportunity to serve. It's been a pleasure as we continue this week. It's an honor to serve as your international president. Thank you. Thank you. I want to call your attention to some work that the Board of Directors has been working on for a few years now. The Ralph C. Smedley Memorial Fund was established in 1965 for the advancement of education through research and development. The Board of Directors recently approved a plan to expand the use of funds to explore geographic initiatives, youth outreach, hardship assistance, and emergency relief. We have a booth set up, and I invite you to visit the Smedley Fund booth in the marketplace to learn more about the fund. And if you donate this week, you will receive a contributor ribbon and VIP seating for some convention events. A ribbon much like this one, exactly like this one, actually. So how does one of those ribbons sound in VIP seating? Excellent. Please visit. Please visit. I want to thank this 2015-16 Board of Directors, distinguished Toastmasters all from Region 1, Margaret Page. From Region 2, Gloria Shishido. From Region 4, Joan Watson. From Region 5, Magnus Jansen. From Region 6, accredited speaker Ross Mackay. From Region 7, Russell Drake. From Region 8, Dennis Woolridge. From Region 9, Steve Chen. From Region 10, Edie Ferrari D'Angelo. From Region 11, Teresa Dukes. From Region 12, Charlie Starrett. From Region 13, Nagaraja Rao. From Region 14, Patrick Wee. Now, later in the briefing, each outgoing international director will have an opportunity to address the membership, and additionally, I will later introduce the executive committee as they present their reports. I'm also pleased to announce that past international director and distinguished Toastmaster David McAllister has been appointed international director for Region 3, and he will officially join the board of directors for orientation on Sunday, August 21st. I'd also like to thank staff at World Headquarters and specifically recognize Chief of Member Engagement and Support, Darcy Mainpaw. One of the most popular accountants in the world, our Chief Financial Officer, John Bond. CIO, Sam Farajan. Director of Executive and Board Relations, Jennifer Quinn. Chief Operations Officer, Sally Noel Cohen. And finally, I will invite forward to present the Chief Executive Officer report, our very capable, talented Chief Executive Officer, Daniel Rex.
Good morning. Must be warm outside. The room is full. 2015-16 was another very good year for our organization. In a few minutes, I'll go over a few numbers. But what most impressed me this year was the focus, the dedication, the discussion on club excellence and member achievement. In my view, that's what we're all about. That's the main thing. I believe it's important to keep the main thing, and to recognize that the rest of us are all here to support that main thing. If you're interested in the details of our performance, you can look on the website. There's a CEO report there that has some beautiful charts and graphs and some commentary. But some highlights are: our membership grew by just under 4%. We reached 345,000 members, our highest number of members ever. Our number of distinguished clubs, while it still needs to grow, passed 8,500 for the first time, an increase of more than 5%. More than 29,000 people received Competent Communicator Awards, again, our highest achievement ever for CCs. 17,000 Competent Leader Awards, and more than 1,400 new clubs. And there are now clubs in 142 countries. I'm very pleased to let you know that we are in the final months of the development of the new Pathways education program. I'm glad that you appreciate that, and we appreciate your help. More than 200 clubs participated in the testing of the educational material in 20 countries around the world. In January, 3 pilot districts will begin implementing the program, and by the end of 2017, all districts around the world are anticipated to be included in the program. I encourage you to visit in the Toastmasters Marketplace in the Convention Center a booth called the Toastmasters Hub. You can learn more and chat with our team about Pathways. You can talk with our technical team about the Toastmasters app, and please continue to bring us suggestions for the Toastmasters app. We look forward to making it better and better and more important to club officer roles and member roles at club meetings. And of course, as Jim mentioned, please talk to our team about the Ralph C. Smedley Memorial Fund, and most importantly, make a sizable donation. It's been my privilege again this year to work with a very talented board. This time of year, I often hear a question, and it's typically phrased like this: "So Dan, how is this year's board?" And the question most often comes from those folks who stood up earlier and were introduced. Sometimes, not often, the question means, "Just please tell me how much better the board was when I served on the board." But most frequently, it's a sincere concern, caring, and an expression of the inner desire that Toastmasters International continue to succeed, continue to grow, continue to provide for club excellence and member achievement in all of our clubs around the world. Each of the 27 Toastmasters boards that I have served with have been faced with unique circumstances. A lot of those circumstances come from the outside environment. They might be economic, political, social, technological, or even environmental. Other factors come from within the organization. How many clubs and members do we have? Are we growing, and how fast? How great or how slight is our focus on important issues? The list of factors is nearly limitless and, of course, includes the capabilities, dedication, and degree of teamwork of that year's board of directors. Each board grapples with these factors and emerges in a unique way, facing the challenges, making decisions, and doing their utmost to carry the organization into the future for the benefit of each club and each member. My sincere thanks goes to this board for their resilience when facing adversity, their tough questions of me, their strong decision-making, but most of all, their unwavering, unfailing commitment to do the right thing for the right reasons. I owe a debt of gratitude to the team at World Headquarters, and Jim introduced to you several of them a few minutes ago, but as you know, there are many, many more. And today they're running around in burgundy shirts. I think tomorrow is a blue day. When you see them, please thank them for the service that they've provided to you and to the organization. Every year, I ask more of them. Every year, you ask more of them. And they deliver competently and professionally. I thank them for that. As I walk the halls of this convention and see so many colleagues and friends from years past and meet many new ones, I'm continually amazed at the degree of dedication, the hours of commitment, and the focus on doing the right thing that comes from all of the volunteer members and leaders of this great Toastmasters International. I thank you and recognize you for all that you do to support members, clubs, and leaders. Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Well done. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan, for that report, and to you and the staff for the tremendous support you offer this organization. Presenting the Executive Committee report is our International President-elect, Mr. Mike Storkey.
Mr. President, the 2015-2016 Executive Committee met this past Saturday and Sunday, and the following are the results of our discussions. With regard to district reformations in progress, the committee reviewed the progress of newly established district reformation committees, the status of reformations in progress, and reformation-related requests. We reviewed the status of reformation committees in District 34, Mexico, and District 72, New Zealand. We also reviewed the status of reformations that will take effect on July the 1st, 2017. Founders District, Southern Orange County, California, and the new District 100, Northern Orange County and Southwestern Los Angeles, California. District 20, Bahrain, Kuwait and Qatar, and new District 105, Oman, United Arab Emirates, Jordan and Lebanon. District 30, McHenry, Lake, DuPage and North Cook County, Illinois, and the new District 103, South Cook County, Illinois. District 79, Eastern Saudi Arabia, and the new District 104, Western Saudi Arabia. With regard to district reformation requests, the committee recommended that the board approve requests to begin the reformation process, resulting in reformation on the 1st of July 2018 of the following districts. District 6, Southern Minnesota, with a new district number of 106, and the joint reformations of District 59 and 95 into 6 districts, the 2 existing districts and 4 new districts. Additional district reviews. The committee also approved a request from the Provisional District 94, West Africa, to amend its boundaries to include the Gambia and Cameroon. Although the district also requested that Chad, Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau be added to the district, the committee recommends that the district resubmit the request when there are clubs in each of these countries. In addition, Protocol 7.0 district structure stipulates that the board reviewed the progress of any provisional district within 3 years of being granted provisional district status. The committee reviewed the progress and status of provisional districts 93, Korea, and 94, West Africa, as well as 97, Southeast Asia, and commends the leaders for their efforts and progress. The committee also recommends that the organisation provide additional support to further their future success. Global compliance has been an issue that concerns many members in many different countries. The committee received an update on Toastmasters International Singapore Limited, which was established in July 2015 to enable District 80 to properly establish bank accounts and conduct transactions to legally protect the district leaders and the organisation. The committee also discussed creating a legal entity in Qatar and authorised World Headquarters to open a bank account in the name of Toastmasters International while it continues researching on establishing a legal entity there. The committee discussed the recent legislation passed in China regarding all foreign non-government departments, conducted activities in China to establish the Register a Representative Office. This law will take effect on January the 1st, 2017. However, the Ministry of Public Security and other relevant authorities have yet to issue a list of their supervisory authorities that will allow a potential process for Toastmasters International in China. Until this occurs, Toastmasters cannot move forward with registration. However, the committee's views this legislation in favourable terms and and is committed to supporting and protecting the members and the clubs in China. Toastmasters International will continue to consult with legal counsel and take appropriate actions. Members of the Executive Committee were Jim Kokochi, myself, Balraj Arulsalam, Lark Doley, Mohammed Murad, Daniel Rex. Mr. President, this completes my report.
Thank you, Mike. Next, presenting the report of the Strategic Planning Committee is our immediate past international president, Mohammed Murad.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Strategic Planning Committee had to do a deep dive into what are the success measures that measure the success of the organization as a whole. And once we had a look at the levels at which the organization performance is measured, we found out that there are measures for a distinguished club program on the club level. There are measures for a distinguished district program on the district level. And there are initiatives on the strategic plan level for us to say whether the strategic plan has been successful at the end of it. The committee saw the need to further develop specific measurements for measurement of the strategic plan, and that is what is going to continue throughout the year 2016 and 2017. The only thing is that it's going to be without myself. Yeah, I was willing to entertain a motion for the audience to show some sadness in this level, as well as a motion for the board to show some sadness. But I'm confident that the work is going to continue because the seed has been sown and we will continue to find measurements in a proper way, hopefully. The Strategic Planning Committee also looked at measurements for board self-assessment. We do have assessments for each level of the organization, but then we said, if we need to be truly successful, we need to measure ourselves as a board. And that, again, will continue. We have had a certain measurement survey that has been distributed to the board. We have looked at the results, and that will continue over the years to look at the past results and continue to develop on the board performance. I would like to thank the committee members of the strategic planning, Jim Kakachi, Mike Storkey, Baraj Arun Salam, Lark Doley, yours truly, and Daniel Rex. Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. And let me assure you, sir, I am very sad you are leaving. That's the way these transitions work. And soon I will leave soon as well. But next, I would like to invite for the Board of Directors report our very capable First Vice President, Mr. Balraj Arunasalam.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Board of Directors met on Monday and Tuesday of this week and discussed a range of topics. Budget process review. The board reviewed and discussed a modified budget review and approval process, beginning with the 2017 Toastmasters International budget, which would provide the board that aligns project details, milestones, and resources required to complete organizational work. Toastmasters pathways. The board reviewed, discussed, and decided on the pricing strategy of the Toastmasters pathway learning experience. For some of you, Toastmasters pathway was called Revitalized Education Program until yesterday. International Speech Contest semifinals. The board reviewed and discussed incorporating quarterfinals at the regional level, having the judges review videotaped speeches. Imagine a day that we will have 150 contestants taking over the international convention. So this is a way forward. Details of this process and requirements will be developed and reviewed by the board. It is anticipated that the quarterfinals will be implemented in the year 2018 cycle. The board reviewed and discussed the progress of previous committee work and the need to formalize a process to regularly review and monitor the status and reprioritize if needed. The purpose is to ensure that recommendations from previous committees, such as developing a more realistic process for college and university clubs, can be executed in a timely manner. In addition, the board received a feasibility update related to past committee work. In 2015, the District Efficiencies Committee developed recommendations that will result in increased emphasis and resources allocation on mission-focused activities, along with the recommendations that will result in less emphasis on and fewer resources dedicated to non-mission-focused activities. The committee requested an analysis of the October-November district conferences, including a financial and resource analysis. The board reviewed and discussed the primary focus of the district leaders and believes that their energy could be better spent on building relationships, promoting club growth, not on preparing conferences. Thank you for that. It's coming. It's coming. Therefore, the board instructs that beginning in 2018, districts refocus their efforts on leadership and education through Toastmaster Leadership Institutes or other learning opportunities, and discontinue the October-November conferences. I thought you clapped. More information will be forthcoming in the next year. The committee also recommended a more streamlined and simplified budget process to reduce the administrative burden and enable the districts to focus on the mission. It received an update on the Concur expenses reporting system and recommends that all districts adopt the tool as it becomes available. The board received a district training needs analysis, which includes more face-to-face and blended learning to better prepare district leaders for their roles and to support them through the year. It will Yes, you can. It will discuss the report and options in depth in an upcoming board teleconference. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Balraj. Now, additionally, the board spends considerable time on committee work where we consider issues critical to the organizational health and future success. So from March through July, board members worked on committees focused on club roles, on member engagement and marketing tactics, and on region composition. And we're about to hear these reports. But I do want to mention, you're going to hear a term used that I have not heard used before in Toastmasters called white papers. So what a white paper is more of an in-depth study of a long-term strategic issue. And we've gotten in the habit in recent years of a quick turnaround in 3 or 4 months doing a study, research, and some very quick recommendations. And the world's becoming more complicated. Our system's becoming more complex and more integrated. And we believe the right approach is to study, recommend, think, produce a white paper, to fuel potentially future boards to drive more decisions. So decisions may come more frequently and in smaller increments, and white papers are looking like a tool to enable us to do that. So you will hear that terminology as we progress today. And first we will begin with a report of the Club Roles Committee, and I invite our IPE, our International President-elect, Mike Storkey, to present that report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Everything starts at the club level. And therefore, I was very proud to head the committee that was assigned to form a white paper to look in depth at club officer roles. We were tasked with assessing all of the tasks necessary to support club quality and success, define how each task is accomplished, sort the tasks into logical groupings, and determine how tasks can best be accomplished. The club roles and titles have stood for decades as Toastmasters clubs, while the world around has evolved significantly. While legitimate management and leadership skills are integral to each role in a club officer, a direct connection to real-world applicability is often not apparent as a result. And as a result, the roles may not be attractive to the most qualified members of clubs. Our committee assignment was to discuss and define how each role is accomplished, what is required to do it, discuss how each task relates to real-world scenarios, where do we get the support and training from in order to perform these roles, and how to develop the skill set and level of effort and amount of time to perform the tasks of a club officer. Being a white paper, we didn't necessarily have to come up with recommendations, but we were able to cover a far broader, in-depth look at what is required for discussion and implementation by either further committees or, in some cases, something that could be done almost immediately because it didn't require policy changes, etc. The outcome was that we have a white paper that has delved more deeply into club officer roles than I think we have ever done before. And I might just say here, when we first compiled the list of what every club officer actually does, we were terrified. And we thought if we presented that to you, so would you be. So we decided to pick the major areas, and being cognizant of the fact that not every club is the same, not every district is the same, not every region is the same, and we need to take into consideration cultural differences, the way people do things, the way people see status in certain roles, and it's hard to get them to take other roles because they're status driven. I commend the white paper and the process, and I would like to thank our committee members, myself, Edie Ferrari D'Angelo, Ross Mackay, Nagaraja Rowe, Charlie Starrett and Joan Watson, with wonderful assistance from staff liaison Darcy Mainpar and Daniel Mitchell as staff liaison support. Mr. President, that completes my report.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mike, for leading that important work as we consider how should our most precious element in this organization, the club, evolve over coming years. That's not work that we should determine in simply 6 months. Thank you, Mike and team. Next, for the Engagement Marketing Committee report, I invite our golden lady, our second Vice President, Lark Doley.
Thank you, Mr. President, members from around our globe. The Engagement and Marketing Committee focused on the third goal of our 2015 strategic plan. Now, how many of you know what that third goal is? All right, our president said it this morning, and those members from District 5, 46, and 66 better know because I talked about it during my district visits. The third goal is awareness, engagement, and participation. Heightened awareness in external target markets, resulting in prospective member engagement and participation. Now, the second initiative of that strategic goal is to enhance the facilitation of successful marketing at the club and district levels. Our committee focused on this second initiative, and our assignment was to assess and evaluate club and district marketing strategies and tactics, to then consider new marketing strategies and tactics at the club and district level, and to discuss the role of Toastmasters International in supporting those new strategies and tactics. Now, the district mission identifies the responsibility of districts to build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. And a part of club excellence is robust and growing memberships. At the club and district levels, we found that marketing strategies and tactics were inconsistent in their effectiveness and quality, and that usually the quality and effectiveness depended on the skill levels of the individuals filling those roles. In our club marketing research, we identified that word-of-mouth marketing is still the most widely used club marketing strategy. So we recommend you continue that word-of-mouth marketing, but that you combine it with up-to-date club websites and social media tools such as Meetup. At the district level, we evaluated the district public relations manager role and the team structure around that role. We looked at the opportunities to link the marketing and public relations within our written materials, our leadership handbooks, our success plans, our training and resource materials. We discussed accountability for measurable deliverables as a part of each success plan. We also sought to clarify the role of the club growth director, the public relations manager, division directors, and area directors as they pertain to the district's marketing and public relations plans. And we offered recommendations for additional leadership roles to receive credit toward the Distinguished Toastmaster designation. Now, the results of our efforts are a white paper that offers a comprehensive analysis of the club and district marketing tools and tactics used today, and an evaluation of the effectiveness of each, and recommendations for potential new marketing strategies and tactics at the club and district levels. That is my report, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Well done.
Wait a minute. On the screen, you will see the incredible golden committee members. They are Russell Drake, Margaret Page, Gloria Shishido, and the able staff liaisons, Bill Nissom and Trent Berry. It was my golden honor to serve with these committee members. Now, that completes my report, Mr. President.
Excellent work and some excellent initiatives to help drive marketing for our clubs and districts. I next invite our first Vice President Balraj Arunasalam to deliver the Region Composition Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Region Composition Committee was tasked with reviewing the current region structure to ensure proper balance of clubs within each region. Since the last review in 2013, Region 11 and 13 have grown considerably. Through evaluations of Toastmasters historical and governing documents, going back from 1957, landmark years 1967, 1971, 78, 97, and so on, the committee found that the sole purpose of regions was geographical representation on the board of directors. In order to proceed, the committee created a working definition. Regions exist to define geographical boundaries of the area for board of directors candidates, and as geographical areas for support for districts by region advisors. That's what we found that is in existence. Once the committee solidified this definition, it was able to focus on the real problem to solve. With the current structure, there is insufficient support for larger regions. The objective was to determine the most effective regional structure to enable the optimal support and guidance that districts need to enhance their efficiency and protect Toastmasters International future. The committee proposed a recommendation to increase the efficiency of the board of directors, to increase district-level leadership mentoring and training, and to determine the most efficient boundaries for districts within the current region structure. And gladly, this was not a white paper. The board voted to accept the report presented and to refer the committee's recommendation to a future board committee for further review. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Balraj. Now, Mohammed already reminded us that he has to leave the board very soon. Sadly, some of our talented directors here will leave the board very soon. But that is part of our transition process, isn't it? Now, each of the outgoing international directors will address you today. So we are going to begin with from Region 2, Gloria Shishido.
President Kakachi and fellow Toastmasters leaders, 2 years. Where did the time go? My journey began in Kuala Lumpur, and here we are in Washington, D.C. The experience I've had on this board provided me with a greater appreciation for what and where Toastmasters will be in the future. The strategies and work that we have done in the committees and on the board was fulfilling. I hope that I will leave just a small footprint on that work. Jennifer James says, success is the quality of your journey. My journey has been enriched by the Toastmasters I have met all over the world. Starting with 2 outstanding region advisors these past 2 years. I'd like to give a shout out to the Region 2 leaders who work diligently to promote Toastmaster programs in the following districts: 4, 7, 33, 39, 49, 57, and 101. You rock! It's been an honor and privilege to serve with this board and the board members from last year. They shared their fellowship and knowledge to further improve our organization. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Daniel Ricks and the outstanding staff at World Headquarters. Their support is much appreciated by me. With a heavy heart, it's time for me to say aloha. President Kakachi.
Thank you, Gloria. From Region 4, Joan Watson.
I never thought that I would hear these 3 words. Point of order! Remember at Kuala Lumpur? Yes, so I'm glad to go and have that passed and became the Region 4 ID. I have learned a lot of things about the opportunities to be on committees. I loved the committees. It was so much fun. We had a few people. We could visit. We talked a lot. I know with Lark and some of the other people, we had phone calls for 4 hours, and we still were willing to stay on and work to actually have an opportunity to commit and share their ideas. I've always enjoyed the district visits. They made me so helpful. I was really having a lot of fun, but I did bring people together to try to have them come in with the trios. We looked at those things and really wanted to be a variety of activities at every visit. I loved going out looking for new clubs with the trios. We had a great time, and some of the clubs actually came through. So that was a very good thing. Now that I have worked closely with the board members, I really appreciate the first, when we were on the first board and the second ones we are leaving. There was so many things that people told us about. They helped us to understand what we're doing, how we can make things better, and really be a perfect, well, not perfect, but be a person that can really help people. After this week, I'm going to be back going to my Master Gardener. I'm a coordinator. I love it. I do flowers. That's my hobby. That's my life. And just this morning, my husband called me and said, we have a lot of corn on our stalks, and the raccoons are eating my ears. So they're not very happy. But I love gardening, and I also enjoy being a part of this wonderful organization. I have been in 2004, I've been doing district things and all kinds of processes. And I really like to see everyone come to a Toastmasters convention. We need to volunteer, get people to come and be careful. I will always remind myself that each day I will do my very best. And I really appreciate all of the opportunities that I got as I was with the Dan Rex, with the board, and with all of the volunteers. So thank you so much for all of your encouragement, for what I have done, and what I will do in the future. Thank you.
Next, from Region 6, accredited speaker, Russ Mackay.
President Kakachi, fellow board members, and my friends. 2 very short years ago, you elected me to this board of directors. And I am delighted, honored, and humbled by the trust you placed in me by doing so. Thank you. It's been a wild ride. We have addressed very important issues vital to the future of Toastmasters International. Did we agree on everything? You must be joking. We analyzed, we dissected, we evaluated, we researched, we argued passionately about many things, some of which was the fact that Mackay just didn't read all the report. But when the gavel descended for a break or an adjournment, we were just a bunch of Toastmasters. Well, there was Dan as well, but yeah, oh, sorry. He is laughing, right? Yeah, okay. But we were a bunch of people who cared very much about this organization and who respected each other tremendously and our differing and divergent opinions, and who were vitally concerned and excited about the future of our organization, and who were prepared to devote their time and talents in order to ensure that Toastmasters around the world grows and develops. Saturday evening, I will achieve the highest position in Toastmasters, a member. And as we are constantly reminded by Mike Storkey, I would urge you to remember the member. Thank you.
Next, we will hear from Region 8, Dennis Wooldridge.
Thank you, Mr. President. My fellow Toastmasters here in our nation's capital and around the world. Do I really have to do this? Has it really been 2 years? Time flies when you're having fun. It is not until I look at the depth and the breadth and the quality of the work that we've accomplished in the last 2 years that it really feels like 2 years. Now, I have 1,000 things I would like to share with you today, and these folks will tell you I'm capable of that. But time is precious at the convention, and I want to respect that. So please allow me to use my time to say thank you. And you watch, I'll be the first one to start crying. To the members of this board and last year's board, thank you. I cannot express the affection that I have for you. To the two gentlemen who have led this board over the last 2 years, Mohammed Barad and Jim Kakachi. Gentlemen, thank you for your steadfast leadership and mentorship. To the World Headquarters staff, I, after 2 years of watching you closely, still don't understand how you do everything you do for our members. But I am really glad that you do. There are a couple of individuals that I've been able to work with rather closely over the couple of years that I want to identify: Sally, Newell Cohen, Jonathan Lamb. Too many people really to enumerate here. The women who have kept myself and the rest of the directors on track and organized, and I will tell you, in my case, that is a full-time job. That's Jennifer Quinn, Mona, Rachel, Tricia, and Angela. You are the best. And I have no earthly idea how I'm going to keep myself together after Saturday. Last year, one of our outgoing international directors said that Dan Rex was a mother. Dan, I just want to express to you that I've never thought of you as a mother, but you will always be my brother. To my family from Region 8, I'm popping my buttons with pride. I love you. All 9 districts in Region 8, distinguished or better. My thanks to the region advisor, Subi Mathur, and to all of the leaders. They're not here today, but my family, I have to thank them. They're my support system. They put up with all those weeks of absenteeism while I visited districts and all those weird hours of their conference calls. But most importantly, I want to thank you, the members, for giving me the greatest gift I've ever received. I will maintain in Kuala Lumpur, and that was your trust. And I hope, and I have strived to fulfill everything I needed to for that trust. I just want to leave you with one small message. You can trust the people that sit in these seats. Every decision that's made, every decision we take, the forge and the anvil on which those are created and developed are what's best for the organization and what's best for members. There is a principle, please. There is a principle that is extremely hard for me to pay attention to and to exercise, and I thank the board for giving me the opportunity to exercise this today. That is the principle of stand up, speak up, shut up, and sit down. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dennis. From Region 10, Edie Ferrari D'Angelo.
Mr. President, members of this board, and those of you with whom I worked last year, and fellow Toastmasters everywhere. I share a birthday with a man who had something very wise to say about endings and about saying goodbye. Theodore Seuss Geisel, Dr. Seuss, said, "Don't cry because it's over. Smile, Dennis, because it happened." And today I am smiling because I'm so filled with gratitude to you, the member, for the trust that you showed to me 2 years ago when you elected me to serve on this board. And I smile because of the people with whom I have spent countless hours face to face, and oh, those phone calls that went on and on. And that would be the members of this board, these amazing members, the executive committee, Dan Rex, and our amazing World Headquarters staff. Thank you all for what you've done. Now the work, go right ahead. The work that we have done together has made a difference in the lives of our members. And isn't that what this is all about? Isn't that the main thing? Now, the work of the board is far from over. The work of the board will never be over, but that's okay. And yet I leave confident knowing that this team will continue to dedicate themselves to our envisioned future, to the strategic plan, and especially to the needs of the member. 2 years ago, I shared with you how Toastmasters changed my life. And because of that, I smile every day. Now, it's my heartfelt desire and my intention to apply what I've learned, the skills I've learned as a communicator and a leader to continue to help meet the needs of our members. But I'm also going to use my personal touch to reach out to those people who have yet to join us, because I want to show those people just how Toastmasters will change their lives in a very good way. And you know what? I'm going to do it all with a smile on my face. Mr. President.
Thank you, Edie. Now from Region 12, Mr. Charlie Starrett.
Mr. President, fellow board members, previous board members, fellow Toastmasters, my two mothers who are here today, you know who you are, my beautiful partner. What a joy it has been to have had this experience. So Edie, I'm smiling. But I want to tell you something that I hope you can learn from. And that is that it hasn't all been joy. As I look back on my leadership journey over the last 10 years, there have been some very difficult times. And those difficult times, I know in my heart, I need to have, because there's so much learning in them. And everything you experience in Toastmasters, however difficult, is there for a reason, is there to help you learn and grow. After a particularly difficult session as district leader, I went home and one of my team sent me a poem. And it began, "If you can keep your head when all around are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, yet make allowance for their doubting too." And I thought about those lines, and I read all of that poem, and I cried, because there was such an empathy in there. But what this lady did is she went further. She lit a candle in my darkness. She said to me, "Charlie, you would not be experiencing this unless you were ready for it." What incredibly powerful words. Because what that means is, for me and for each of you, there is within you the resources to deal with whatever comes across your plate. Whether it's in Toastmasters or outside in the outside world. So when my son, Mark, who's 16, who's now spending 4 months alone in Brazil, rang me one day and said, "Dad, the pressure is intense." I said to him, "Mark, you would not be experiencing this I'm glad you've got that. Unless you are ready to deal with it. And do you know what he said? Dad, I get it. That was so rewarding because that came from a dark place in my leadership journey. And I was able to share that learning with him. So that candle that had been lit with me, I was now able to light for him. So as I finish my role on the board, I want to leave you with these two thoughts. That one candle, which was lit in me, and which I now light in other people, you can do the same. And you can light 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 more. It only takes one candle. And it only takes one voice to change the world. Yours, Mr. President.
Thank you, Charlie. And now from Region 14, Mr. Patrick Wee.
International President, CEO Dan Rex, past international presidents and directors, fellow Toastmasters, good morning. I remember 2 years ago when I stood on the ticket, bring out the best in each other. Today I stand before you as I reminisce over working with the board of directors. We have indeed brought out the best in each other. Though we come from 9 different countries, 8 different countries, 19 board members, we brought a potpourri of talents mashed together. And I apologize for the many times I asked piercing and difficult questions, especially with regards to finance. And I'm glad this organization is run very well. After listening to 6 prolific speakers, it is difficult not to repeat a Nathaniel Trump. My mother always taught me some core values. The core values consistent with Toastmasters: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. This board, for the last 2 years I work with, have shown that in many ways. We debated, we shared our points of view, though diverse and different, but once we made a decision, and I hope the trios will also remember this. Once we make a decision, we go in the same direction. And that's what working is all about. Tomorrow we celebrate at the Hall of Fame all the awards. But I remember the many leaders of the various districts. For those districts who didn't achieve distinguished or above, you have still served with distinction. And I salute you. Because this is not a paper chase. This is a people chase, as one CGD told me yesterday. What is important is we continue to connect with people and touch lives. And this is what Toastmasters is all about. I remember when I joined Toastmasters and I go through a difficult period where my first late wife was suffering from cancer. Attending Toastmasters meetings was the best thing that happened to me. Every day, every night, I visit her. And on Wednesday nights, I told her, this is the time in which I need to recharge, rejuvenate, and recollect my thoughts so that I can stand firm, stand tall, and be coherent with myself. She suffered for 10 years. Our little boy whom she gave birth to just after, and she was diagnosed with cancer. Thereafter, today, I'm glad he did well, came back with a first-class economics degree from LSE and a master's degree from Harvard. I remember when he was a little boy and I used to bring him to Toastmasters, and he beat the adults in table topics. And I said, this boy is special. He's even better than me. I once brought him to a training assignment in Malaysia. And I said, why don't you come along with me since it's school holidays and you can help me with the PowerPoint. After the first session, he came up to me voluntarily. He said, Pa, you had 7 okays, X alrights. That was the best gift that Toastmasters gave to me. When you and I can touch lives, whether it's our children, it's our fellow members. And if you remember the 4-day-old Toastmaster, Shirley and her husband in Kuala Lumpur, they just achieved Distinguished Toastmaster, both of them. It's not my doing. I place a seed in them by asking them to attend the convention and to set their goal to be a Distinguished Toastmaster. Go forth. Go ye therefore and touch more lives, because it is these members that matter. And I will be glad to be standing there next year with you, Mr. President.
I'll next invite Past International President Johnny Uwe forward as I briefly present this event. Our Past International President Johnny will recognize and remember those who served with pride and grace and who left us this year. I offer you Past International President Johnny Uwe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow Toastmasters, a couple of weeks ago, I was received an invitation to speak at this memorial presentation for those who have left us since we last met in Las Vegas. I immediately accepted. In fact, I always accept all invitations to speak, because at home, I cannot speak. And all over the room, people are murmuring, why is he cracking jokes at the memorial presentation? Fellow Toastmasters, I share with you the words of those two great philosophers, E.D. D'Angelo and Dr. Seuss, which we both picked up from that venerable fountain of wisdom, Facebook. Yes, E.D., don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Today, let us not be sad because 2008 to 2010 International Director Earlene Norris and 1979 to 1981 International Director Ronald Wallace has left us. And smile because they served Toastmasters and District 67 with distinction. Let us not be despondent because 1993 to 1995 International Director Ronald Gide has passed on. Let us not shed many a tear because we will miss 1981 to 1983 International Director Ralph Joslin and his recruitment efforts on anyone who would listen to him talk of Toastmasters. And let us remember all the good deeds that 1984 to 1985 International President John S. Latin and 1969 to 1970 International President Ralph Roland shared with us. And now, as we offer a few moments of silence to our departed leaders, let us smile and remember and be happy that for one brief shining moment in that vast ocean of time, they shared of themselves with us. And Toastmasters is all the better because they did. Mr. President.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, Johnny. 4 brief announcements as we conclude. First, leading and learning opportunities through Toastmasters begins at 1:45 p.m. in the Liberty Ballroom on level M4, this level. The Benefits of Service Leadership education session by past International President and Distinguished Toastmaster Michael Natero starts at 2:45 p.m. in the Liberty Ballroom. Third, if this is your first international convention, be sure to participate in the First Timers Gathering at 4 p.m. in the Liberty Ballroom. And finally, opening ceremonies will take place in the Marquee Ballroom at 5 p.m. Thank you, Toastmasters. Meeting adjourned.